Well, I hope you're all having a great time. The weather's certainly improved, fingers crossed. Now, what does this show not have? I tell you, there's something for everyone. I'm the other side of the fairground in the car show ground. We've got every sort of car here, but I've come across to look at the biggest car that you will see here. It is currently owned by Mr. Norman Halford, who's beside me. Norman, though, is in the process of selling it. So how much one would have to pay for?
Around about £30,000 at today's value. The car only cost $5,600 when it was manufactured in the US in 1959. But the market price for one of these cars now, as I say, is around about £30,000.
We haven't actually said what it is. Car enthusiasts will no doubt have spotted we're talking about a Cadillac.
It's a 1959 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. 1959 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, which can be easily identified by the two doors. There was a sedan version with four doors, but the Coupe de Ville only has two doors.
What makes them so special, apart from the fact they're huge, is the embellishment, the design, the fact that if they had wings either side, you would expect them to take off, to fly.
Indeed. Well, it was as outrageous as American cars got, the 1959 Cadillac. After this car finished its production run in early 1960, American cars toned everything down. They got rid of the fins, and by the mid-60s, all American cars had square fenders, square lights, square dashboards. And a lot of these cars went to the scrapyard in the 60s, and of course now they're very sought after. And
it was very much celebrating the jet age, wasn't it?
Oh, indeed.
The coming of jet aircraft.
That's right. A lot of American cars in the 50s were influenced by the introduction of jet aircraft in the 50s, and the design engineer of Cadillac back in the 50s was a guy called James Harley Earl, who was inspired by the twin booms of the P-16 or 17 Lightning, and he was inspired to make cars with huge fins. And these fins on the 1959 Cadillac is as outrageous as fins ever got.
It is an American car. It's an amazing car, and I have to say it's too big to fit in my garage.
Before you ask, it only does about 8 miles to the gallon.
You've put me right off now. Look, I've just got to say, while we're here, very quickly, if Gary doesn't mind just turning and having a look, are you embarrassed by the fact you're parked right next door to what must be the most, it's been nice to say, unusual car here, but isn't that a Trabant?
It is indeed, and what a wonderful contrast. A communist era transport for the masses, with a two-stroke air-cooled engine, compared to the outrageous styling of the 50s American car. So a nice contrast for members of the public coming this afternoon to have a look at these wonderful old cars.
And we better just say the Trabant belongs to Colin Bridgewater.
Indeed, yes.
And he's not ashamed of it either.
Of course not. Oh, absolutely not. Everyone loves their classic car. Doesn't matter what it is. We all enjoy them.
It's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much.
And you too. Nice to have met you.
So there we are. Lots of cars to see on the showground, the other side of the fairground. Do check with your catalogue if you're not quite sure where you're going, but it's worth coming across.